So, what if love isn't just some random feeling you fall into, but something you can actually practice and build on purpose? Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful framework for relationships from psychotherapist David Richo. It completely reframes love, not as a place you arrive, but as a way you show up. Let's get into what that really means.
Okay, this quote right here, this is the key to the whole thing. It totally challenges that fairy tale idea of love we all grew up with, that big rush of emotion. Instead, it asks us to see it in a new light. Think about it. A feeling can come and go, right? But being present, that's a choice. That's an action. And that one little shift in how we think about it lays the groundwork for a much deeper, more mature connection.
So, this whole approach isn't about finding some mythical, perfect person out there. Nope. Instead, the focus turns right back on us. It's all about how we can show up as more loving, more realistic, and more present people inside our own relationships.
So how do we actually do that? Well, Richo gives us this brilliant and really simple roadmap he calls the 5 A's. These 5 ideas are the practical tools we need to build that way of being present. We're going to break down every single one of them. Let's start with the first one, the one that's really the foundation for everything else. It gets right to the heart of this idea of presence. It all kicks off with attention.
Just that one word. It seems so simple, doesn't it? But before we can do anything else in a relationship, we have to learn to truly pay attention. So, what does that actually look like?
It is so much more than just hearing words. It's not just hearing someone say, "I'm fine," but actually noticing these slumped shoulders and the quiet tone that tells you a different story. It's about being a gentle observer of everything that's going on emotionally. The tiny shifts, the unspoken worries, the whole vibe of the connection. It's the simple act of really, truly seeing and hearing another person. Okay, so once we're really paying attention, we can build on that solid ground with the next 2 keys. And these are all about creating a genuine feeling of openness.
This one. This one can be a real challenge for our ego, you know? The part of us that always wants to fix things or change people. But a real, true connection is built on a foundation of acceptance. Now, let's be really clear here. This does not mean you have to love every single thing a person does. Not at all. It just means you stop fighting against the reality of who that person is right here, right now. It's about letting go of the project of improving someone and just meeting them exactly where they are. And, when we can really accept someone just as they are, we create the space to move into this next beautiful practice of appreciation.
And it's really important to get this. Appreciation isn't just about flattery or only pointing out the good stuff. In this way of thinking, it's about valuing the entire person, their strengths and their weaknesses, their biggest dreams, and their daily struggles. It's seeing the whole, messy, wonderful human being and valuing all of it. All right, our last 2 keys are all about how we actively nurture and keep our connection going over the long haul. These are the practices that really bring the other keys to life. The 4th A is probably the most direct way we have of showing we care. It's about bringing that love into the physical world through affection.
Now, the absolute key word here is respectful. Affection is all about physical touch that communicates safety, care, and genuine presence. It's a way you can actually feel the attention, acceptance, and appreciation we've been talking about.
And now we've come to the final key. And in a lot of ways, it's the most profound one of all. This is the ultimate act of trust in love and in life itself, allowing. This is all about loosening our grip. It's finally admitting that we can't control another person and we can't control a relationship. Look, love has incredible joy, but it also comes with unavoidable pain. Allowing means you make space for all of it, the ecstasy and the ache, without trying to micromanage the outcome. So when you take all 5 of these keys and you start putting them into practice, what happens? Well, something fundamental starts to change in the way you relate, not just to other people, but to yourself too.
I mean, you can really see the contrast here. When we practice the 5 A's, we start to shift away from our ego's default settings, judging, being afraid, pointing fingers, and we move toward this place of openness to what's real, compassion for each other, and a grounded sense of realism about life. And why does all this matter? Well, because this practice isn't just some trick to make your relationships better. It actually helps create connections that are way deeper and so much more meaningful. And just as important, the relationship itself becomes this amazing space for your own personal growth.
When you boil it all down, this is what it's about. Love becomes this two-way street of these 5 simple, but yeah, not always easy practices. The constant exchange of attention, acceptance, appreciation, affection, and allowing. That's the very core of a mature, mindful, and loving connection.
So, that leaves us with a final question to think about. Love isn't some abstract idea for someday, it's a practice for right now. Which one of these simple keys can you bring into your life right now, today?